Why? Why am I always late to the breaking news? Why am I always late to the party? Gosh, so annoying. I'm waking up this morning and boom, social media all over, news, breaking news everywhere. And I'm thinking like, oh, thanks a lot. I'm the last guy to the party. Well, I guess is the price you pay for living in the time zone where everybody gets up last and everybody goes to bed last. And of course, the breaking news that I'm talking about are the ICF news that came out today. And of course, we all knew that they're going to have a world championship next year in Poland. We knew it was going to be in September, and now we have the date. So that's not really the breaking news, in my opinion. The breaking news is that they're also adding on a world tour. They're doubling down with a world tour, and they're doubling down with qualifiers for the upper field to qualify directly into the world championships, including their winners will be paid all expenses to go there. That's the way it sounded like. So that's pretty cool. And they're doubling down with several sub races. For example, with the Sub 11 City Tour, they're going to work with those guys coming up in September. So September going to be a busy month. If you look at their news release, they're also going into Switzerland in Thun there, which gives me the hunch that's going to be the ice race, traditional Swiss race there on the Lake of Thun in Switzerland. And they have several different countries and venues that they are still working with and that they are going to release new dates. So the ICF clearly is using its momentum that it gained over in Hungary with all the good reviews that they got, and rightfully so. It was a great event, and now they're doubling down. They want to do a world tour. Highly interesting. And despite the CAS ruling from last year with the Olympics, it doesn't seem to matter right now. And on that note, Olympics, Schmolympics anyways, because we're not going to go to Paris in 2024, and who knows if we're going to go to LA in 2028. I don't think that discussion doesn't matter at all right now. It doesn't matter a minute. What matters right now is that we're going to have a very busy 2022 season. What matters is that now we're going to have another tour. So if you think about it, so we have an ICF working on a tour, sanctioning already existing races, maybe putting on their own races. From what I hear, Hungary race will be happening again, organized by the same team that organized the World Championship. So that is an undeniable thing. Then, of course, also the cultural shift, and we talked about this before, guys, the cultural shift. We see supping is becoming more and more of a paddle sport. The sub surfing part is really dying off. This downwind sub racing, ocean racing is dying off. Sadly, it is the case because that's kind of where my passion is. But buoy racing, also very exciting. We've seen it in Hungary. So the excitement is still there, but there is a cultural shift more over to the paddling. We have people coming in from the sit-down paddle sport, from Eastern Europe, from Russia, that are very enthusiastic about SCP, and they are all making their mark. And of course, what does it mean? ICF making that push. Now we have, of course, still an APP tour. Now they are maybe getting a little bit nervous because now it's kind of like, hey, you know, now we have this tour. Euro tour, we still have a Euro tour going on. So we have now 3 tours coming up. Then we have rumors of a sub-European, the Euros sub-championships. That's something that I picked up on Chris Parker's page. So that is something that is being talked about. That also supposedly be in September. So I don't know, there seems to be just a whole lot going on, and now I'm a little bit afraid that yes, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, but everybody's starting to step on each other's feet a little bit, and everybody's starting to outdo each other. Yes, competition of course is good for the market, but for athletes that means more traveling. Where do I go? Maybe you just go where the good prize money is. That's where it's the most lucrative. Maybe that's where you follow. But for the athletes, everything is going to get more complicated, and then maybe some associations will say, like, well, I want you guys to go here, or the sponsorships, not to speak of sponsors. Now every race needs a sponsor, so like all these sponsors, I could imagine they're getting a little spread thin. Who do we sponsor? Where do we get the most exposure? What are we going to support? So yes, great thing, super stoked. ICF, they showed that they can pull off some great events. Now they have to show that they can pull off a world tour and the qualifier situation there. So they have to prove themselves one more time. The APP has to come out in 2022 and prove themselves that they can bounce back from the lag from 2020 and 2021. Of course, that was not self-imposed, we all know that. The ISA has to prove itself with the 2022 World Championships in Puerto Rico. Of course, that's not going to be till November next year, so that's going to be a very long time ahead. So everybody is going to have to prove themselves, because now everybody is competing for the goodwill and the excitement and the hype of the SAP community. Olympics aside, forget Olympics, that is going to be somebody else's decisions, that's not mine, that's not yours, so we can forget the Olympic situation. Now we just need to see that, oh my gosh, Europe is going to be a sub frenzy next year. And let's hope we can have a sub frenzy, because all this new variant Omicron, Kromnishnon bullshit stuff is kind of starting getting old here, and we need to move on with our lives. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.